Hello, and thank you for your interest in the Phragmites Adaptive Management Framework, or PAMF. This short video is meant to give you an understanding of the why behind its creation. A number of traditional methods are used to control Phragmites. Some of these include herbicide applications, mechanical removals, prescribed burns, and hydrologic manipulations, just to name a few. One thing that all of these techniques have in common is that they're resource intensive, requiring special knowledge, equipment, staff time, and funding. However, Phragmites managers are not seeing consistent results when implementing these techniques. For example, an herbicide treatment applied in Michigan may have a very different outcome than one applied similarly in Minnesota. A lot of uncertainty exists surrounding which variables, such as site conditions and implementation techniques, are responsible for such variability in the treatment effectiveness. And when a manager does find a highly effective management technique, there's currently no mechanism in place for sharing that knowledge with other managers. Even our regional Phragmites experts are struggling with the uncertainty of treatment outcomes. During the initial planning phase for PAMF, experts were elicited to help provide base values for the PAMF model. Part of this elicitation involved giving each of the 9 experts a hypothetical management scenario. So in this case, you applied a glyphosate treatment to a Phragmites stand that was 80% established with non-native Phragmites, and then asked them to predict most likely outcomes by distributing 100 points. If there was high agreement between experts, then we would expect to see a lot of overlap in the distribution of points. Expert 1 anticipated improvement in the invasion status with a reduction in the percent establishment of Phragmites at this site, most likely between 41 and 50%. Expert 2 expected even lower establishment. Even better expectations from Expert 3, who predicted eradication was even possible. Expert 4 still predicted a lot of improvement. Expert 5 believed pretty similar to Expert 4. Expert 6 predicted there would be no change in the invasion state after 1 year of treatment. Expert 7 predicted some improvements. Expert 8 thought it was likely that the invasion would even get worse. And Expert 9 believed a large reduction in Phragmites was likely. So remember how I said that a lot of overlap in responses would indicate expert agreement? Well, that's not what we saw. Even the experts disagree on what would happen. This result was interesting to us and reflected the uncertainty that we were seeing in Phragmites treatment outcomes throughout the region. It was becoming more clear that we needed some sort of systematic collective learning to address this type of uncertainty. Going back to 2015, the Great Lakes Phragmites Collaborative surveyed Phragmites managers, asking them about their interest in tools, such as mapping tools, scalable monitoring and statistical protocols, decision support tools, and online databases to store project information. The responses showed a lot of interest in all of the proposed tools. And the collaborative wanted to find a way to reduce uncertainty and in a way that would incorporate the tools that managers had identified wanting. Utilizing an adaptive management approach in the design of PAMF would allow us to systematically learn from our management outcomes in a way that would avoid the trial and error approach to management that was becoming all too common. When correctly implemented, adaptive management results in systematic learning, reduced uncertainty of management outcomes, less waste of resources, and improved overall effectiveness of Phragmites management. Thus, the Phragmites Adaptive Management was formed to address the needs of Phragmites managers from across the Great Lakes Basin and also incorporate the tools that managers had identified wanting. At PAMF, our mission is to find the best strategies for managing invasive Phragmites in the Great Lakes Basin. The benefits of PAMF include basin-wide learning, systematic learning for management outcomes, and site-specific data-driven guidance that we're able to provide as a result. PAMF wouldn't be possible without the dedication of professionals from across the Great Lakes Basin. PAMF's core team includes staff from the University of Georgia, the U.S. Geological Survey, and the Great Lakes Commission. We also have a technical working group that assisted with the creation of PAMF and represents a binational cross-section of Phragmites experts. And finally, the stakeholders. PAMF exists as a resource for Phragmites managers and will only continue to exist and improve with continued engagement. Anyone in the Great Lakes region can participate in PAMF, from private landowners to federal agencies. PAMF is open to anyone regardless of experience. Now that you understand a little more about why PAMF exists, you can start exploring what it means to be a participant. Here's a representation of what the adaptive management framework looks like as part of the participant process. Participants work through these steps, which repeat on an iterative cycle. And when you add a timeline to those steps, you end up with the PAMF participant cycle.